Introduction. The last biological humans. Welcome to the most uncomfortable truth of the 21st century. Humanity is not disappearing, but biological humans are. In this series, we're not talking about extinction in the traditional sense. We're talking about replacement, conversion, transformation. We're talking about the end of natural reproduction, the collapse of organic fertility, and the phase-out of the last generation born from unaltered biology. We call them legacy humans, and if you're watching this, you're likely one of them. This series is titled Depopulation, the Last Biological Humans, for a reason. It's not a conspiracy theory or a fringe belief. It's a measurable trend happening in real time across nearly every continent. Fertility is falling, birth rates are crashing, entire nations are aging beyond recovery, and for the first time in human history, the cause is not famine, war, or disease. It's us. Our technology, our lifestyles, our policies, and perhaps even our design. But before we dive into the science, the politics, and the unsettling future scenarios, let's make something clear. This series covers serious subject matter: deep demographic change, reproductive collapse, the potential redesign of the human species, and existential questions about what happens when the body becomes optional. If at any point this information feels overwhelming, take a break. Talk to someone you trust. Use discernment. These are not light topics, and they're not meant to be. We're here to examine what's actually happening, not to sanitize it. And one more thing. I'm not here to tell you what to believe. This series isn't propaganda. It's research. It's pattern recognition. It's investigative analysis of what many refuse to acknowledge, because it challenges their assumptions about progress. So if you're here, it means you're willing to think beyond slogans. You're ready to look at the hard data and ask, where is this all heading? Let's start with a basic definition. What is depopulation? The mainstream definition of depopulation is simple: a decline in the number of people living in a particular area. But in this series, we're refining that definition. When we say depopulation, we're not talking about total human disappearance. We're talking about the systematic decline and eventual obsolescence of natural biological reproduction, the end of human life as something born, and the beginning of human life as something built. This distinction matters because humanity, in many ways, is still continuing. People are living longer. Some are merging with machines. Others are pursuing digital immortality through consciousness backups, AI avatars, or cryogenic storage. But none of that requires a womb. None of that continues the lineage of natural humans. What's growing is not human fertility, but post-human continuity. Which brings us to Elon Musk. For years, Musk has warned that population collapse due to low birth rates is a much bigger risk to civilization than global warming. He's not alone. Demographers, governments, and tech leaders are all starting to acknowledge that we are not having enough children to sustain our current civilization. Countries like Japan, South Korea, and Italy are already past the point of recovery. Their fertility rates are below 1.0. That means, on average, each generation is producing less than half of the next. And here's the kicker. No country in recorded history has ever reversed a fertility rate that low. Once a population begins to decline, it tends to keep declining, unless something radical intervenes. And as you'll see later in this series, something radical is intervening. But it's not nature. It's not policy. It's technology. We are moving from birth to manufacturing. In the coming chapters, we'll examine how artificial wombs, synthetic sperm, and CRISPR gene editing are beginning to replace the need for sexual reproduction. The very act of creating life is being moved out of the home and into the lab. And if that makes you uncomfortable, it should. Because we're not just replacing biology with better biology. We're replacing birth with fabrication. But before we get there, we have to understand how we got here. And that begins with what some researchers are calling spermageddon. Since the 1970s, global sperm counts have dropped by more than 50%. That's not speculation, it's peer-reviewed science. Chemicals like PFS, phthalates, and endocrine disruptors are now found in over 90% of human blood samples. These are not harmless. They interfere with hormone function, disrupt testicular development, and reduce fertility across both men and women. And while women are also experiencing declining egg quality and higher rates of reproductive disorders, it's the male side of the equation that's collapsing fastest. Dr. Shanna Swan, one of the world's leading environmental reproductive epidemiologists, predicts that the median sperm count could hit 0 by 2045. 0. That means the average man could become functionally infertile in just 2 decades. And yet, public awareness remains virtually non-existent. Why? Because fertility collapse doesn't make noise. It doesn't riot. It doesn't burn. It just fades. Now, you might be thinking, can't we just use IVF, sperm donors, adoption? In theory, yes. But that response misses the point. Once we lose the ability to reproduce biologically at scale, we lose more than just population. We lose independence. We lose agency. And we become permanently dependent on medical systems and private industries to continue our species, which leads to the next uncomfortable question. Who profits from all of this? The global fertility industry is projected to hit $42 billion by 2030. Big pharma, biotech startups, and private clinics are racing to offer the next generation of fertility solutions, from gene-edited embryos to artificial womb facilities like Ectolife. Meanwhile, corporate culture is incentivizing childlessness. Employees without kids are promoted faster. They work longer hours, they cost less. In some sectors, children are now considered a liability, not a legacy. And ideologically, something else is happening. A narrative is being pushed that having kids is selfish, that children are bad for the environment, that parenthood is outdated. Combined with lifestyle marketing that glamorizes freedom, travel, and self-optimization, you have an entire generation that's been psychologically disincentivized from reproducing. And for many, it's already too late. The truth is, we're not just experiencing depopulation, we're participating in it. Whether by choice, coercion, or circumstance, biological humans are phasing themselves out, and no one is talking about what comes after. That's what this series is for. In the videos that follow, we'll explore why secular societies have fewer children, how artificial children may replace real ones by 2050, whether governments will start mandating reproduction, and what it means to be the last generation born through natural means. We'll look at countries already disappearing demographically, like South Korea, Japan, and China, and ask, can culture survive without birth? Can nations exist without children? And can the human soul endure if reproduction becomes a product, not a miracle? You don't have to agree with everything in this series. In fact, you shouldn't. This is a topic that demands critical thinking. What we're laying out is a framework for understanding one of the most profound transitions in human history, not from life to death, but from birth to construction. So, if you've ever wondered why so many people seem to be opting out of parenthood, if you've noticed fertility clinics booming while birth announcements shrink, if you felt like something deeper is happening to the human story, something beyond economics or personal choice, you're not imagining it. The age of biology is ending. The age of engineered existence is beginning. And you are living through the crossover. Let's begin. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing. And no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive Mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief Tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio-upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.